much do you know about property tax and trade license? Do you know when you're supposed to pay your property tax? Who's supposed to pay trade license? Or what those monies are used for? If you answered no to any of those questions, then you want to stay with us until the end of this live forum as we seek to help you to navigate property tax and trade license in Jamaica. Whether you're in Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, wherever you are in Jamaica, the process the same across the board. And if you're new to this space, I am Winsome Sharia Witter, founder of Serenity Resource Connector, and it's my pleasure to partner with the Clarendon Municipal Corporation to bring you this informative forum that seeks to inform and empower so that you have the information that you need to be responsible citizens of Jamaica. And we have a lot to get through this evening, we are going to get started with property tax, and then we are going to move into the discussion of trade license. And the intent is for you to leave with a better understanding of both areas, the options that are available for you to make your payment, what the monies are used for, and all those good stuff. It's an interactive forum, so you can share your comments, ask your questions as we move through the discussions. So joining me for the property tax segment is Danasha Harris, the supervisor for the property tax unit at the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. Welcome, Danasha. It's a pleasure to have you here in this space.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here with you tonight.
Amazing. All right. So let's see who we have joining. Sir Anderson, thank you so much for tuning in. All right. And thank you for letting us know that you are here, JP Anderson. That is. All right. So let's start with an overview of property tax. Paint a picture for us. What's the current landscape looking like for Clarendon when you talk about property tax?
Well, currently in Clarendon, as many of our viewers, I'm sure they know that Clarendon is one of the largest parishes on the island. It's actually the third largest parish on the island. And as a result of this, the municipal corporation has been working alongside the tax administration to ensure that communities are not only compliant, but communities are also being educated on the importance of paying those taxes, and not only the importance of paying, but the benefits of paying their property taxes. Clarendon, as I said before, is the third largest parish in Jamaica, and as a result of this, there are 95,604 registered properties currently on the system in Clarendon. As it is now, from yesterday when I did the final checks on the system, we have because those properties, of the 95,000 properties, those properties are divided under 3 collectorates within the parish. So we have Maypen Collectorate, we have Chapelton Collectorate, and we have Lioneltown Collectorate, excuse me. For those collectorates, especially in Maypen, we have 35,703 properties, 3 registered properties. In Chapelton, we have 45,000 properties, and in Lioneltown, down in the south area, we have 14,000 properties, 14,234 registered properties. So basically, that's just an overview of the amount of registered properties that we have in Clarendon that are supposed to be paying property taxes.
All right. And notice that you emphasize registered. Does that mean we have a significant number of unregistered property in the parish?
We do have unregistered properties. However, it is based on the owners, that the onus is on them rather to go to National Land Agency to get those properties registered and on the system so that they, can contribute to paying their property taxes.
Okay. I'm looking for the questions and the comments here. Sir Brown, thank you for tuning in. Meryl Rodney, thank you for being here with us. I'm not able to pronounce that name there. Good evening to you. Thank you for tuning in. All right. So for the viewers who do not understand, what exactly is property tax and how
Okay.
is it calculated?
Property tax are taxes that are charged on properties across Jamaica. They are charged on registered properties, whether they are commercial properties, agricultural properties, or residential properties, and are listed on the valuation roll. So once they're on the valuation roll, there's a charge that is levied on all properties that are registered within the parish.
Okay. And if we're paying taxes, there must be some measures in place. So, what are the implications for individuals and communities if property taxes are not paid?
Well, we don't really have an implication per se as it relates to an individual community. However, the onus is on these individuals who are owners, renters, mortgagers, or even persons who lease properties to pay said taxes. For instance, if you are served with a property tax reminder and you are given 15 days for which to make payment or to make contact with the office, if you do not comply, you may be served a summons, or you in extreme cases you may be issued a warrant to come to the courts to answer for those non-payment of property taxes.
All right. But so let's delve into the intent or the purpose. Why is it that you collect this property tax? We always want to know what our tax dollar is being used for. So share with us.
Okay, no problem. Property taxes are intended for the maintenance and expansion of street lighting. So you see the street lights that are across the parish, that is one of the reasons why property taxes are being collected. Also, it is used and intended for the collection and the disposal of solid waste. So your garbage truck come along, it's the property tax dollars that that allows the garbage truck to come around and collect taxes. And also, a lot of persons may not know, but property taxes is used to fuel local authorities. So like the parish council is run primarily, or let me not say primarily, but majority of the funding that comes from the property taxes, it is used to fund the local authorities. They also been used for community developments. And we also have something like the municipal corporation, where the most compliant is given an award of 200,000 towards a project, whichever project of their choice. It can be used towards a beautification project. Property taxes are also used to repair and rehabilitate fire stations. A lot of persons do not know that as well, that the parish council, the local government, is actually responsible for the fire stations across the island.
Wow. All right. From what you said, I picked up several implications if the taxes are not paid, because that might explain why most of our councillors last year highlighted that they have been pleading to receive um, the lights in their divisions, and they have not been able to get more than 6, if so many. So if
Mhm.
the monies are not being paid over, then there's not much to pay
It's
JPS,
not
correct?
much, yeah. It's not much to be done because those monies, it is intended for street lights, garbage collection, fuel the municipal corporation, etc.
All right. So it's important that we pay so that we can contribute to all of this.
Excuse me, you made mention, well, you asked a question earlier, and I just remember that I did not answer that question. You
Go ahead.
asked about how the property is valued. How do we know? I want to make it clear that the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, neither the tax administration, is responsible for assigning values to properties in terms of how much taxes you pay. The National Land Agency is the body that is responsible for assigning values to properties. So basically, the valuation in Jamaica is done via the NLA, the National Land Agency, and they do this based on the unimproved value of said property. When I say unimproved value, I mean that, for instance, you as a landowner is willing to sell your property, so it is based on the amount that you would expect to get if you want to sell that property. So basically, it doesn't include any improvements, no buildings or crops, etc. It's the unimproved value. And several factors contribute to the value that is assigned to your property. So it can be based on the location, it can be based on the size of the property, the zoning, meaning that if it's in a commercial area or it is in a residential area. It can be based also on the elevation of the property, the soil, the features, the soil characteristics, etc. The surface, the leveling of the property, etc. So National Land Agency uses a variety of things that they use, in order to assign a value to the property that you live on.
Okay. And JP Anderson has a question. Can we get some street lights installed between Lennon High and Moko Primary? What's the collection like for those communities?
For Moko is primarily owned by, well, most of the properties in Moko, perhaps more than 50% of the properties is Jamalco is responsible for that. However, we have low compliance in Moko. The division that, well, let me not say division, but the community up that side with that is most compliant would be like Thompson Town and Victoria. So in that area, Blackwoods, Beckford, Crawl, that is the most compliant area that we have in that area. Not saying that Moko doesn't pay their taxes, but I'm just saying that the compliance rate in Moko is not very high.
All right, so we're gonna have to do something about that, Anderson, so we can get some more tax dollars to spread around to get those lights in place. All right, so of course we have some people who are exempted from paying property tax. Who are those people?
All right, so basically any property that is owned by the government is exempted from paying taxes. So you have the schools, you have the local authorities, you have the hospitals, all of those properties are exempted once the school is registered by the Ministry of Education. So it may be a private or a public school or a secondary school. Once it is registered by the Ministry of Education, they are exempted from paying taxes. Hospitals don't pay taxes. Churches, I must say also, but the church, the size of the property has to be like 1 acre or less. It can't be an old 5 or 10 acres. As long as it is 1 acre or less, and it is registered in the church's name, then they are also exempted from paying property taxes.
Okay. All right. I hope we got that. So now that we understand what property tax is all about, the calculations, what the landscape looks like in Clarendon, let's talk compliance. All right. What measures does the municipal corporation employ to ensure property tax compliance?
Well, first and foremost, the officers, they print reminders. So the reminders are printed throughout the tax year. And I must say that taxes are due and payable the 1st of April every year. However, you have the option to pay annually, biannually, or quarterly. If you are paying annually, you would pay these taxes the 1st of April every year. If you are paying biannually, you would pay these taxes the 1st of April and the 1st of October. If you are paying quarterly, you pay these taxes the 1st of April, the 1st of July, the 1st of October, and for the final quarter, you would pay the 1st of January. Now, the officers would normally go out with property tax reminders. I'm sure some of our viewers and listeners have gotten reminder even once, maybe stuck in their gate in an envelope, or see the officers who come around to issue these reminders to taxpayers. You are given 15 days for which to make a payment, whether full payment or half payment, or You can come in the office if you do not have enough money to pay it at once. You can come in and we can facilitate a payment arrangement with those taxpayers. So we serve a reminder after 15 days. If you have not made any contact with the office any at all or made any effort at all to pay, you are contacted again via a phone call or a follow-up visit. If you still are not being compliant, you will be served a summons to go to court. Now, these summons, once prepared and served personally, they are brought before the court in which the property, under the collectorate for which the property is located. So you go to court, and in extreme cases, we do issue warrants for non-payment of property taxes in terms of persons who do not turn up to court to answer. So basically, the warrant is like a last resort. We also have a team that is employed by tax administration. They are called SET, the Special Enforcement Team. Some cases are given to SET. For example, if I have an officer who tries, over and over to reach out to a taxpayer in terms of payment, and the taxpayer is not making any form of payment, or they are not interested in paying, we refer some of those cases to the Special Enforcement Team. And they can do a variety of things. They can do garnishment, they can put a lien on your property, they can do a forfeiture of property. In terms of, when I say lien, I mean that TAJ or the government by law can block you from selling that property or using that property as collateral in any business arrangement, any at all. So that is one of the actions that we employ in order to ensure compliance. So garnishment is also one that the TAJ does. Garnishment is in fact done by the Commissioner General for TAJ, where the commissioner serves a notice of garnishment upon a third party. For instance, if you have monies outstanding for property taxes and you do some work somewhere and somebody have some money for you, the Commissioner General can reach out to that third party and have them serve them a notice of garnishment and have that person pay the cash directly to the tax administration in order to recover those outstanding balances.
That is good to know. All right. But outside of this forum, though, other than those measures that are in place for collections, what other mechanisms do you use for education, public education? So
Well,
persons
in
are
terms
able to
of
understand.
yes, in terms of public education, the property tax department works alongside a few government agencies that we use. So we work alongside national land agencies. So whenever they are doing their town hall meetings or their symposium, we are invited to, give a presentation. We work alongside Geoland Titles Office, the persons who issue titles for properties. We work alongside tax administration, as you may, know by now. We also work along with other departments within the municipal corporation. So we work alongside the planning department, and we work alongside the community programs managers department. She is the one, Miss Samuel, she's the one who plans town hall meetings. So we do town hall meetings. We have the TAJ website that is furnished with any information property tax related. We also have an Instagram page where information is also there in terms of, payments, etc. We also have stuff we have like pamphlets and brochures in the lobby area of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation with information related to property taxes, what it is used for, how is it calculated, the benefits, and how it can be paid as well. And also, you can always come to the tax office. We're there from 8:30 to 3 on Mondays to Wednesdays. And on Thursdays and Fridays, the tax office closed at 4 p.m.
Okay, great to know. So you said you're at the tax office. So your unit is actually based at the TAJ?
At the TAJ, yes.
All right.
So if you
Who
want
else
any
didn't know that?
information related to the property taxes, we are located at the tax administration office. We are not located at the parish council. We are located on the property on the TAJ building.
Makes sense. All right, so let's get into the payment options, because if you're have all these compliance measures in place, you have to make it easy for people to pay. So how accessible are the payment options? Tell us all about them.
All right, the payment options, you have inline, meaning you come in the tax office, you join the line, you pay. You can also pay online, so you can go on the TAJ's website. You can, create an account, just as how you would create an account for any social media platform. You can create an account to pay your property taxes there. We also have the mobile unit that we use to collect property taxes in areas that, well, the mobile unit usually goes to areas that, we have a little bit of low compliance in the area. We also look at the distance it is from the tax office. So the mobile unit, we have two bus that is provided through the local government, and we go to different areas. In fact, last month we went to Kellits with the mobile bus. We went to Spaldings, and we also went to Longville Park within the parish to collect those taxes. We also have the TAJ app, the TAJ mobile app. So you download that from the Google Play Store. We also have the banking app as well. That is new. So just as how you would go on and add a payee to your Scotia or your NCB banking platform, you can go on that as well and add property taxes at TAJ as a payee and pay your property taxes there. So that is new, and the TAJ is currently doing some educational promotions, letting people know the different options. So as I said, you can pay inline, you can pay online, you can pay via the banking app, and you can pay via the TAJ mobile app. And also, as I said before, the mobile units that are hosted across the parish for, approximately every quarter, we have the mobile units across the parish.
Quite a number of options there, and that's really great. Can communities request the presence of the mobile units?
They can, but if we look at the cost to host the bus as opposed to what will be collected, first of all, we would look at the arrears that is in said communities. So if we realize that the arrears is not enough to cover the bus coming from Kingston, we would look at something that is smaller. So we do like an outstation. So the outstation is not the bus that is hosted. We just get some cashiers, get some security guards, and we just go on location and collect those taxes. However, in the past, I'm not sure if it has changed. I need to check on that. But I know in the past, for the outstations, they do not use cash. It's mostly card, debit cards, and credit cards. For security reasons, they use the card
Understandable.
instead.
All right, quite a bit there. So I trust we all have a better understanding of our property tax, how it's calculated, what the situation is looking like in Clarendon, the measures in place for compliance, how you can help to keep your communities up to date with street lights and
Garbage collection.
I can't let you go before you answer this for me. It might be another area, but we can share this. If there are properties that are left unkempt because there's not any bushing, you have water that's settling in this location, does that fall under your unit, or is there another unit that deals with that?
No, it doesn't fall under my unit, but if you make like if you're trying to find out information about that, information is available at the front desk at the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. So there's a form there that you would sign up, fill out the address, etc., the problems that you're having, and within 5 to 7 working days, the planning department or another department goes on site to check, in terms of bushing and checking to see what the problem is.
Thank you ever so much for that. Business Feature Untold Stories. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing. Amoy Douglas, happy that you found this informative. All right. Please remember to share. Don't keep the good news to yourself. So you're going to share so other members of your communities are empowered to do what is right so that we can help to build our spaces. Don't go anywhere. Stay put just in case there are any other questions related to property tax. So the Nasha makes way for Sean Williams, the team leader for the trade license unit there at the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. So Williams, welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, amazing. So we are switching gears now to trade license. Now, this is an area that a lot of people don't understand, and so we're going to give you as much information as possible. Ask your questions, so when you leave here, you're clear on what exactly trade license is. So share with us an overview, Sir Williams, of the trade license system in Clarendon and the significance for businesses and entrepreneurs.
For this opportunity.
Pleasure.
And good night to your viewers. The Trade and Business Act empowers the collection of trade license for each municipal corporations across Jamaica. Speaking for Clarendon Municipal Corporation, the trade license that is collected helps with administrative cost. It also helps with anti-vending operations, and it helps with enforcement for the parish of Clarendon. Who pays for trade license? Retailers, wholesalers.
Right. Before you get there, let's take it in bite sizes to make sure that the viewers have a clear understanding. All right, so we want to hear what's going on in Clarendon. On average, annually, how much is collected in trade license currently? And where does that money go?
All right. For the financial year 2023-2024, our national target was 25 million to be collected. I am happy to say that we have collected in excess of $25 million for the parish of Clarendon. So the trade license team has actually met their national target. And I must indeed congratulate the other 3 members that works in the trade license department with myself.
And let me commend the business community for honoring their obligations to pay their trade license so that you can exceed the target. All right, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes.
The collections for trade license is used for anti-vending operations. It is also used to support the administrative staff at the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, and it is also used for enforcement across the parish. That's what your trade license is used for.
Okay. So now we get into the types of businesses. Now that we understand what the money is used for and why we should pay, what are the types of businesses that require a trade license? Because oftentimes businesses confuse being registered with the company's office as the end all. So share with us which businesses.
Several times when either myself or my officers go out there to serve and collect trade license data, what we find is when we ask for their trade license, they say, yes, we have the trade license. But when they do present a license, it is actually the company's license from Kingston that they do present to us. Some persons even present the health license to us. So what we do when we go out there, we try very much to educate them regarding trade license, and we also tell them what is it that the trade license does for them, right? So therefore, we try and educate them as much as possible regarding the trade license. That's what we do when we go out there, right? We serve them some forms for them to make the payments at the various tax offices. There's 3 collectorates across the parish of Clarendon, either Maypen, Chapelton, or Lioneltown. So that is what we do.
All right, give us a breakdown of the businesses, because not all businesses would require trade license. What's the nature of the businesses that require trade license?
All right, the businesses that requires the use of trade license is retailers, wholesalers, wholesale and retailers, pharmacies, bars, grocery stores, car marts, farm stores, auctioneers, or commission agents. These are the persons who we collect trade license from.
All right, so for the
And there are
community,
different ranges. There are different ranges. It ranges from a low of $2,500 annually, which is paid for the 1st of April to the 31st of March each year. That's the lifespan of the business license. So it ranges from a low of $2,500 to a high of $75,000 annually.
and that depends on the
The
earnings.
grade that each business would fall under.
Okay, the category.
Right.
All right, right. So in layman's term, then it's those businesses that buy things and resell.
It's businesses that purchase and sells back goods. That's what the
All right,
license empowers them to do.
all right. So for those people who actually manufacture and sell, that's
They
different.
don't,
That's different. They would
right, they
require.
are in a different category.
All right. Fantastic. I hope we're all clear on that. Blessed, just to let you know, I've acknowledged your question. We'll take that later on as it relates to property tax. All right. So don't go anywhere. Stay put for your response. All right. So then what are the consequences for businesses operating without a valid trade license?
The consequences of operating without a valid trade license is that when we visit you, the business can be closed, we can summon you to court, or there's a fine of 250,000 that can be levied against you per day, not for the week or for the duration of the time that you did not pay, but per day, $250,000. What we have found in going out there is that we try to educate our business sector at this moment that, listen, it is important for you to get your business trade and business license. And when you do get your trade and business license, ensure that you display it, that when the officers comes in, they can see it clearly. It is visible. Without you having the trade license, or even having the trade license and having it in a drawer, you can be fined. It must be displayed at all times so that the public or the officer who is coming to check can see it any given time.
All right. So all that's required once you go there and you check, and once it's there, it's only to check to see if it's up to date.
Right, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Wow,
I
that
must also,
250,000 is steep. It pays to comply.
yes, and I must also explain that if one business owner have 2, 3, or even 4 businesses, each one requires a different trade license. Also, if you have one business, like you have a shop and a bar on the same premises, same building, but there is no entrance or exit that you can walk through one section to the other, it is 2 trade license. If there's an entrance or exit that you can move from one side to the other in terms of moving from the bar to the grocery shop, then 1 trade license is needed.
So once they're independent entrance to
Right.
both, then it's considered 2 different
2 different
locations.
businesses, so it needs 2 different trade licenses.
Right. Which is similar to what happens at the company's office, because if you have a different location, then you'll pay an additional fee for that registration of the additional location. All right. Amoy has a question here. Does this also go for online businesses? I don't think we reached there yet.
No, we have not reached online businesses as yet.
Hear that, Amoy?
Maybe that's one for the future that we can look into.
But then, Amoy, you don't even have to keep that. You drop shipping and all of that. You probably don't even have to have the actual stock. All right. So, are there any specific regulations or criteria for businesses that must be in place for them to actually get a trade license?
Each business would file their annual returns, and upon filing the annual returns, then they would then come to the tax office to make their payment and receive their trade license instantly. Now, some persons, when you visit some locations, they told you that they have paid their trade license, but they did not get their license. I am here to inform you that the moment you pay for your trade license is the same moment you can receive your license. It's not at another office, it's not for another day, it's the same day, same for each process. Pay and you collect same time.
All right. So, for those who make their filing and payment online,
And
what
then
happens?
there are also like bars and grocery shops, which some of these persons does not file their annual returns. I want to implore the business community that it is important. If you know of these persons, tell them to file their annual returns. Reasons why? Filing their annual returns would help them. They would be able to get NIS benefits when they are due their benefits. It can also help them to get NHT benefits by filing. If by chance, though, when we visit the locations of shops and bars and they have not filed, we can do an on the spot assessment and indicate to them how much they are supposed to go to the collectorate and make a payment and instantly receive their license.
All right. So that sounds like there's a system in place
Yes,
to
there is a
actually
system.
assist them in becoming compliant.
Right, that's correct.
So
So
if
we
they
work
didn't know
in
before,
conjunction
and
with TAJ in
right,
granting them that license.
awesome. So for those who didn't know that they need to have a trade license and know that they are getting the information to say that yes, they should have the trade license, they can come in and speak with one of the officers to get guidance as to how they can take care of that. Is that the case?
They certainly can come in and speak to one of our officers. They can also go to TAJ, speak to one of TAJ officers, right? And they will get all the information on how they can make their payment for their trade license and get their trade license so that they would not have a trade license to show when we go there, right?
All right. So we're basically in the compliance measure and support space now. Um, so you have already outlined in terms of what it is that you do when you go in and you do the checks, and in terms of any outside of the one-on-one and this forum, are there any other options that you use to educate community members? Any community group meetings or town hall for trade license?
Yes, definitely. If we are invited to town hall meetings that are kept in the parish, we visit and we impart the information. Also, there are brochures and pamphlets, which is at the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, that there is readily available, right? Besides that, also our officers who visit leaves a brochure with the business persons so that either they are educated or they can educate someone else regarding trade license. Also, if there's any SDC functions, right, we make ourselves available also to be there. So these are mediums through which we try to let persons know more about trade license and to get on board with trade license.
Right. And of course, they can always reach out and request if they're having a community meeting to invite the team over to share.
Most definitely they can, right? And at any given time, I can be reached at 1-876 499 1671. That's 1-876 499 1671.
All
And
right.
we also have the trade license email address. It's tradelicense.cmc number 4 at gmail.com.
This recording stays on the platforms wherever you're tuned in from, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or X, formerly Twitter. The recordings will be there, so you can go back and check those numbers. Outside of that, be sure to subscribe, and you want to go over to the Serenity Resource Connector website, serenityresourceconnector.com. Subscribe there so you can get the blog on Monday with the recap of this discussion. Dallas Harris is asking if Chinese business owners pay the same taxes as US Jamaican or US and Jamaican. I'm not sure what that is, but is there a different rate for
most
as it relates to
definitely
property tax?
most
Trade license.
regarding trade license, most definitely either you are US citizen, Chinese, Jamaican, Asian, you pay the same trade license, because each of these business would have their accountants. So their accountant would do the bookkeeping for them and then let them know how much to pay at the tax office.
All right. So that takes us nicely. I hope that answers your question, Dallas, into the payment options and the assistance that's available. What are the options for businesses to pay their trade license?
The options for businesses to pay their trade license, they can either pay annually, they can pay biannually, or they can pay quarterly. So they have choices from which to choose how to pay their trade license. The difference, though, is that if you make a quarterly or a biannually payment, you will not receive your license until full payment has been received by Tax Administration of Jamaica.
All right, because that brings us to the next question in terms of any initiatives or support services available to assist businesses, especially small ones, to manage their trade license obligations.
The moment you have made one payment for trade license, automatically for the next calendar year, you would be due. So you just come in back to the tax office and make your payment regularly, and you would collect your license. If though you have not paid trade license and we have visited you, then we will leave you the forms for you to start to pay your trade license. Also, if we have not visited you and you have not paid, we implore you at this time to ensure that you come in and make your payments, because remember, you don't want to be fined for not paying your trade license. And that fine is either for the person paying $75,000 annually or $2,500 annually. It doesn't differ and it doesn't change.
All right. So for those businesses that are going through a little challenges at this time and they usually pay and things just not maxing out cash flow wise, what arrangements can be made to accommodate them?
Arrangements that can be made is either they would pay biannually or quarterly.
Okay, so they can utilize the
Because
quarterly options.
for you to operate your business, you must have a trade license. The trade license is what empowers you to purchase the items or goods for you to sell them back. Without having a trade license, you're basically operating illegally. You're floating the law.
Okay. All right. So how can businesses navigate the trade license process efficiently in terms of payment? Because question that came in today after someone saw the flyer that we'll be having this discussion. The Monday of this week, they went into the tax office to make the payment. They go to the counter, they get a form. They have to leave the counter to go fill out that form and then go back to hand in the form. And then they're sent in the line to join another line to make payment. And then after they make the payment, then they have to go back to collect the license. What's the most efficient way for them to get this done? That
For,
sounds very onerous.
for persons who are able to do online payments, I would advise online payments. For persons who are not able to do their online payments, what they could do is make contact with us. We'll reach out to them. We'll assist them with the forms and even assist them in doing the forms, providing them the information and the assistance necessary to get the forms done. And then they can just take it back to the tax office and make their payment.
Okay, so that would be, they'll be able to circumvent that first line to
Right.
go fill out the form.
Yes, because they would have
Are the forms available online?
office. Pardon me.
Are the forms available online?
Yes, the forms are also available online.
Okay, so they can actually download the form and fill it
They
out
can
before
download the
going to the
form
tax
and
office
fill
if
it
they're
out.
going to use that option.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so let's bring in back the Nasha. We have some questions here for both of you. So let's take it from up top. Blessed has a question here. Can you make small payments to property tax as I am a senior? She's a senior. She wants to know if you can make small payments.
All right. You certainly can make payments, as I stated before. You can pay your taxes for the entire year. You can pay biannually, and you can pay quarterly. Also, since you are a senior, they have the option of social discretionary relief, a special discretionary relief that is granted by the Ministry of Finance. So, persons who would be eligible for such a relief, persons who are aged, you mentioned, persons who are aged, persons with disabilities, persons who are widowers, and also persons with fixed income, so like pensioners and persons who are getting their path payments. They can be able to apply for the special um, discretionary relief, and these are done through a special review committee that is located at the municipal corporation. So you can go to the parish council and you can apply for those. But it is important to note, though, that these reliefs are only done for one tax year. So on the system, you have 7 tax years. It won't be granted for the 7 years. It will only granted for one year out of the 7. So yes, you can get special relief based on that. Or as I said, you can come in, talk to us. We can even put you on a payment plan. For instance, if you don't have all of it, you can come and you can say, Miss Harris or whomever is on the team, you can say to them that I don't have enough, but I can afford to pay this monthly, and we can, of course, put you on a payment arrangement to pay those balances.
Sounds amazing. Blessed, I hope you got that. And I hope others will be able to. Please remember to share the link so others can get the information. Don't keep the good news to yourself, okay? All right. Wilfred, what if tax is owed on a piece of land that has two separate owners, but the land title is in the person's name that the land was bought from, and only one person is willing to pay their portion?
In a case such as this, I always encourage taxpayers to continue paying their portion of the taxes, because what can happen is the other owner can get a summons to go to court. I've seen in cases where two persons own a property, that they're living on the same property but in different houses, and the judge would authorize that person to continue paying their taxes, and the team would now go out, do further investigations, and summons the other person who is being non-compliant to come to the courts to answer to those non-payment of property taxes.
You're welcome, Blessed. All right. Follow up, Wilfred. Can I pay my portion of tax owed and get a title for it if the other person refused to pay his or her own?
Unfortunately, the Geoland National Land Agency body, they won't issue a title with balances owed on any property, any at all. So the onus is on you, the owners, to come together to clear those balances so that a title can be issued. They won't issue the title if there's any balances owing on the property.
That's clear. Sir Anderson says that he's over 70 years old. So can I get a relief of paying my land tax?
You
Property tax.
certainly can. You certainly can make your application to the local, the special review committee that is located, as I said, at the local authorities, the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, and it is granted. They would send that application to the Ministry of Finance for them to, grant it based on the age. Because as I said, remember, they grant it based on your age, persons with disabilities, widows, pensioners, and persons who are having difficulties paying those taxes. So it is called a special discretionary relief.
You're welcome, Lady Walcott. All right, let's see if this is a municipal corporation question. Are there any plans to make land transaction easier with less cost and time?
That
Sounds like
actually is a question
land
for the
agency.
National Land Agency. Remember, we only collect property taxes. So any form of titling and transaction as it relates to applying for your title, etc., like surveying, etc., it is done outside of the municipal corporation.
And I believe it's Geoland that's in Clarendon that deals with that on
Geoland that
behalf
deals
of
with land
the
titles,
National
yes.
Land Agency.
Also, I must say that before COVID, the National Land Agency usually visits the tax office, but since last month, they have been coming back the third Wednesdays of every month. They come to the tax office now, so they are trying to resume because it was stopped because of the whole COVID breakout.
Protocols.
So they are
Okay.
yes, they are thinking about continuing coming back to the tax office to answer those questions. So they can always come to the tax office to find out when the National Land Agency will visit the location.
All right. I trust that helps, Lady Blair. You're welcome, Sir Anderson. All right. If there are any more questions, we have a few minutes more to go. So you can ask your questions now and we'll be happy to answer them. But in the meantime, any final thoughts that you want to leave with the viewers, Sir Williams and then Lady Harris?
I would really like to say to the business persons across the parish of Clarendon. I know maybe tonight we are not reaching out to those, especially those who are delinquent, right? But if persons who are online and can reach out to those persons to ask them, please, to pay their trade license and become compliant, because the trade license is very important to the Clarendon Municipal Corporation.
Okay, we spread the word on that. Lady Harris, your final thoughts?
My final statement is that I really want to say that persons sometimes are not aware of who should pay property taxes. I must stress that everybody who is in possession of a property, whether you are a mortgagee, whether you own the property, whether you're leasing the property, or you are a renter, you are liable to pay those taxes. I also want to ask the viewers, if you have not paid your property taxes for the financial year, we are actually closing out the financial year and starting a new one come next week, April 1st. I'm asking that you go online, you make those payments. You can make the payments, as I said earlier in my presentation, you can make the payment online. You can use the TAJ mobile app. You can use your banking app, whether your Scotia app or your National Commercial Bank app, to pay those outstanding balances.
All right. If you found this forum useful, please do not leave before subscribing so that you can be made aware of other informative sessions that we have. We do go live every Thursday at 8 p.m. So on fourth Thursdays, that's where we look at local governance, community development. When we have a fifth Thursday, it's time for youth leaders to share what's happening, whatever programs they have for youth development. First Thursdays, it's Culture Corner. So for those of us in this space who are mindful of or preserving our cultural heritage, that is where you come to hear what is happening, what the young people are doing, what the schools are doing to empower our young people as they get ready for the world. Second Thursday, that's where we have safety and security with the Area 3 Police. That's Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, highlighting the different programs, initiatives, and we're looking at some specific areas. So if you missed this month, you want to go back and see the discussions that we had on domestic violence, community safety in general, and traffic management. So you want to go back and see that. And on third Thursdays, that's where we have our community corner. And in community corner, it's anything to empower the communities. All of those are right here in the YouTube space, and they're in playlists. So you can go on and listen to it even while you do your chores, while you're driving, so you can learn and you can share the information and empower those around you. Thank you so much, Lady Walcott. This session was very informative. You are welcome. Yes, it's very useful. All right, fantastic. So be sure to subscribe and share. I paid 200,000 for taxes owed, and I thought they would help me with interest. No one helped. Is there anything in place for waiver of interest? Do you know?
Yes, it depends on the case. They would have to make a case to the Commissioner General for Tax Administration. They would have to make a case in terms of writing the letter, to explain why they want those interests to be waived. I've seen cases where the Commissioner General actually waived interest on some properties. So you can write to them and explain the situation and see what can be done.
All right. Trust that helps. All right. Thank you so much. I don't know how to pronounce this first part here. I don't want to get in trouble, girl. Very informative. You are welcome. All right. Thank you all for tuning in, whether you joined us live or you're watching the replay. Always a pleasure to share space with you. And with that being said, you all have a fantastic rest of the evening.